the Vikings at the Panthers. We'll snake it like how we always do. Yep. All right. Vikings at Panthers. Matchup with the better offense. Better offense. I gotta go to Panthers. Even I think Christian McCaffrey, I think he's on his way to play this week. I believe so. He practiced today. And then you have Bobby Anderson, DJ Moore, who wasn't involved last week, but I think Sam Darnold's going to get him involved, especially with CMC back. And CMC back just makes any offense better in the NFL. That's just a fact, and Sam Darnold's decent quarterback play. So, defense, I'm gonna give it to the Panthers. I think their defense is. I mean, they stumbled the last two games. I was surprised with the Eagles, but I still think their defense is. Yeah, the Eagles is crazy. I can see Dallas. Dallas is shout out to one of the best teams, but Eagles, it's one of those weird games they should have won. So I think their defense is better. I think their defense has been playing good all year. I think they're going to tighten up versus the Vikings, especially with Dalvin Cook not being healthy, but Madison is still a good. The level of production is still good, but we'll see. Adam Thielen's not playing how he was last year. We're gonna see how that. I just think the Panthers defense match up. Coaching, I have to go with Mike Zimmer, just because if we're going this year, scratch that. I'm not doing the pass. We're going this year right now. Matt Rule is a better coach than Zimmer. At this point in the moment, off of record alone, he is. Because the Vikings are not playing good this year, including me and some other people had them. I know Corey and Craig did not, but I had them having a better record than they are and to be coached better. But I just, they celebrated a win over the Lions. It's like, I know it's a divisional game, but it's like, that's why I said it. So I got the Panthers ruling all three. Yes, you heard it here first, guys. And I have the Panthers winning the game. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think the Panthers win 24-20. All right. We do Corey.
So the Panthers are coming off a rough loss to the Eagles. Philly had just given up 40 in consecutive games, and Carolina could only get 18 on that Eagles defense. Yes, I know the Vikings just barely beat the Lions last week, but that's a divisional game. Those, no matter how bad a team is, those can get a little tough sometimes. And the Vikings' 3 losses are against the Cardinals, Bengals, and Browns. They were all close games, and all 3 of those teams have turned out to be decent teams so far this year. So offensively, right now, I'd have to give the edge to Minnesota. The Panthers' offense has shown flashes, but it hasn't been consistent. And right now, I trust Cousins a little bit more than I do Sam Darnold. Defensively, I'd give the edge to the Panthers. Coaching, obviously, I would give the edge to Mike Zimmer. While I do think the Vikings are better than what their record says, games like this game and last week's game are games that the Panthers should win. To be a good team, you have to beat the opponents you're supposed to beat. Before last week, I would have taken the Panthers in a heartbeat in this game. Now, I think it's more of a toss-up. The Vikings have been a bit all over the place so far this year, but I'm going to go Minnesota, 28-21.
All right. Craig, who you got, man? The Vikings and the Panthers.
All right, this is it. This is it. Like this, I'm not all for like the must win and all this other stuff, man. Especially this early, but this is like a must win for the Panthers. I hate to even use that, man, but this is embarrassing. The way they played last week, like almost threw my laptop because it was so embarrassing how they ended that game, man. I was so pissed. I don't think I've been that pissed in a long time because I think these first 9 games were all winnable games, except maybe the Dallas game because I was on the road. Like even when they come up when they play the Giants on the road coming up soon and all that, like these are winnable games. You have to take care of the teams. Like these are the teams on your schedule, regardless of how bad they are. You have to beat the teams that you should be beating on your schedule. And Philly was like the worst, or they were 31st against the run. They couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball, but they didn't have like a beasting type of game that you would have thought. But I know the Panthers get Christian McCaffrey back, and or they should be getting Christian McCaffrey back. Dalvin Cook practiced today, so he should be back. But yeah, the offense is easily Minnesota. Sam Darnold, I don't know what he's doing. Like he has more rushing touchdowns, or he might have the same amount touchdowns. I think he's leading the league in rushing touchdowns, where he was at the end of the 1:00 games last week with 5. He's good at getting down to the 5-yard line and less and running the ball in. That's cool, but like, what's going on as far as throwing the ball to your receivers and getting them touchdowns and check downs to your running back and all this other stuff? Like, he's just not there. I don't know. Like he's missing throws. He's inaccurate. Like he's just not inaccurate all the time, but he's just missing like some throws on key downs, key situations. He should be completing those passes and he's not, and it's pissing me off. I'm hoping he hasn't got Robbie Anderson involved at all. I don't know. He's just there running routes, I guess. I don't know what he's out there for. Because he's not getting the ball. He got the ball more last year with trash can Bridgewater. So, I don't know. I'm not saying I'd rather have Bridgewater back, but Jesus Christ, what's going on out there? And then you like obviously Christian McCaffrey hasn't been there, but man, I'm sorry for going on a rant, but that game really pissed me off because they should have won that game. And they only scored 18 points, man. It's just an embarrassment. And then they had 15-3 at halftime, and then they end up with 3 points in the second half. They did that same thing against the Jets, where they cannot score in the second half, and they had Christian McCaffrey that game, and they're playing the Jets at home, and they almost lost that game. The defense can only do so much. The defense is better. Their defense is better than Minnesota's. It's not like a blowout, but because obviously of who they played, like they played bums pretty much except for Dallas and maybe New Orleans. But it is what it is on that game. But like they just have to play better, man. They can't go out there and obviously give up 18 points in the second half. But at the same time, the offense has to score. Like you're up 18-14, you go down and score a touchdown or even a field goal. Like you got a tie game, you can go to overtime. You never know what's going to happen. But if you go down and score a touchdown, the game is over. They can't even get a touchdown. Sam Bradford's throwing the ball away. Sam Darnold's throwing the ball away. Y'all throwing turnovers. It's an embarrassment, man. So I'm just going to say offense with Dalvin Cook back and obviously the receivers they have. Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback. The offense is better. The defense, I'm going to Carolina. Both of them were, I think, the Vikings are number 1 against with the total sacks. Panthers are tied for second with total sacks. So they're right there, 1 and 2. And then coaching, obviously, I'm going Zimmer. He's been there to the playoffs. I don't know how many times I said this, but playoffs, no. This is a playoff year for him, according to what he's been doing every other year with that team. So, and they've been in a lot of games. They play better competition. It's just Carolina's playing at home. And I'm hoping that Christian McCaffrey can rejuvenate this team and get them back to something because I think going to 3-3 and you got the next 2 games on the road is going to be tough. So I'm reluctantly going Carolina here, man, 23-20. And if they don't win this game, I'm picking against them next week. I can't do it anymore.
So Craig, because you said must win, so if they lose this game, who do they play next?
I want to say the Giants. Let me check. I think it's the Giants though. Yeah, at the Giants. And the Giants aren't good, but they're not like, I don't think they're a pushover team, especially at home. They beat the Saints. They were there with the Washington football team. They were in a couple games. I mean, obviously they got blown up by Dallas, but Carolina just can't seem to put games together like a consistent. Other than that Saints game, maybe because they played a division team and they've been dogged out by the Saints the last 5 years, that they just played a really complete game. And other than that, it just hasn't been. Even the game against Houston, they were 7-6 at halftime. Why? And and they had McCaffrey for like the first half or first quarter and some change. Still not putting points up on the board. Carolina just can't score. They can't score at all. It seems like every time we look up, they're getting like 18 or 20, low 20s. They're averaging somehow. I didn't know they were averaging like 23 a game, which is surprising to me because every time I look up, they're not scoring any points. So they haven't scored 30 points this season. I think the most is 26. So, like I said, I hope Christian McCaffrey can bring some type of rejuvenation to this team. The defense, you can't keep leaving them out there. Like, they're going to get tired after a while if you're not moving the ball, moving the sticks, and putting up points, and letting your defense just rest a little bit, play a little bit of a deep zone or prevent type defense, even though, just let them throw short passes, short intermediate passes. Like, you're just getting, like, it's tough, man. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch. And they played, the defense played great in the first half. 3 points. And it just, you can only do so much. So.
All right.
I don't know.